Okay, here's the latest project. This is an international Farmall Cub that engine is seized. One time this was a pretty clean tractor. Somebody had a nice glossy paint job on it, pretty nice newer tires. So it's unfortunate that it's been sitting out for the last, I don't know, 6 or 8 years, I guess. Somebody just had it sitting outside. So the engine is seized up on it, and I'm starting the process of tearing into it to pull the head off and see how bad the cylinder walls look, see if I can get it unstuck. Hopefully fairly easy, but probably not. So what I've done so far is tear everything off the top of the engine. You can see some pieces over there. I've drained the radiator, and I'm labeling the wiring. Wiring is pretty bad shape, so I'm sure I'm going to end up redoing all this. But just because I'm going to go ahead and label everything where it's coming from, and hopefully make it easier to put it all back together and run new wires and everything. So I got to disconnect the take the generator off. This is all still 6 volts, so I'm gonna take the generator off. Coil might be okay to stay there. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm gonna have to take off that upper water pipe because that's mounted to the head, and I'll update you in a little bit. Okay, so here's what we got. I got some more stuff taken off. You can see the generator and the head, the air cleaner. The air cleaner stayed bolted to the head. I figure if I can leave everything, you know, as big of assemblies as possible to put back it all together. The head gasket looks pretty good, but you see there's some liquid in this cylinder. I've been squirting PB Blaster in these. I pulled the spark plugs out months ago and been squirting PB Blaster down in there occasionally, and for whatever reason, that one's still holding the PB Blaster. So that may be my problem cylinder there, and perhaps the rest of them, the rings are loose enough where that PB Blaster just kind of seeps down through. There's a little bit of liquid in there. That's water, just from where I pulled the head off. It was a little drippy. But you can see what has happened here. These back 2 cylinders, all the valves are closed. If the spark plugs are good and tight, so these back 2 cylinders are probably good, but the intake cylinders, or the intake valves, are open on these first 2 cylinders, so just allowed moisture in, and thankfully the walls don't look bad. I mean, there's a little bit of rust at the top, but I would say that the rings probably don't even come up that far. So hopefully these cylinder walls are in okay shape. I'm a little nervous about this one, and that's what I'm dealing with for now. Okay, here we go, a little update here. So I took a rag down in that cylinder and sopped up all that PB Blaster, and you can feel that the wall of that cylinder is kind of rusty. But I cut a piece of wood, fit down in there, and I've been tapping it, not real hard with that hammer. I figured this is, that intake valve is up, so it's on the intake stroke for that cylinder. So tap it down, and sure enough, the rest of the pistons are moving. I can see that the fan is moving just a little bit too, so I'm going to tap that down just a little bit more. It's not seized anymore, so hey, that's a big thing. Tap that down a little bit more, make room for my hone, and then I'm going to stick just a little 3-stone hone down in there and try to clean up the walls on that cylinder and lube it up real good and see if I can get everything to roll over then. Okay, so here's an update. I was able to hone it, and actually I had to take a wire brush down in there. That cylinder wall was kind of bad on this end one. So I took a little small wire wheel on my drill and cleaned that up a little bit. I didn't get real aggressive with it, and then I stuck just a cheap Napa, you know, $10 3-stone hone in there. I got it, you know, I worked that piston as far down as I could to get that those stones to do some work, and they did. They cleaned it up pretty good. I mean, it ain't perfect, but it is, you know, pretty good actually. And I've got the hand crank on it here, and everything's rolling over really well. The one thing I noticed, I got to looking a little closer. This was not the intake valve. This is exhaust valve. I was thinking it was, you know, intake, exhaust, because I guess I was looking at this. I don't know what I was thinking. This is the exhaust valve here. That's the valve that was open And actually that valve was stuck too. Once I got everything rolling over, I realized that valve was stuck. So oiled it up a little bit, tapped it down with a hammer, block of wood, and then just continued to oil it and work the engine with the hand crank. So it appears like everything's working like it should now. I'm taking my air gun down in there, put the air gun on the exhaust stack and blowing, just trying to blow crap out of there. I'm gonna do the same thing on the intake side there, and kind of work it over, let each valve open up and blow air through there to try to blow all the crap out of those lines. Especially concerned with the intake side. I want to blow all the shit out. That way, I'd rather blow it out now and jam up a valve than put the head back on and do it. So I'm gonna continue to kind of give this thing a half-ass cleaning, and then kind of inspected the head and the head gasket and stuff. The head looks pretty good shape. The gasket looks real good shape. So I think I'm gonna stick it together here in a little bit, and I'll update you when I do. Okay, so just a quick little update here. I got the head back on. Put a little bit of just a regular anti-seize on all the head bolts. Torqued them down to 45 foot-pounds, and I put a little anti-seize on the spark plugs. Those are the old plugs. I'm gonna go ahead and see if it'll run with them. Cut a new gasket for the water pipe there, mounted the water pipe back on, and I'm gonna keep on putting stuff back on. Okay, so I guess this is gonna wind up the video on how to unseize a Farmall Cub. This is pretty much the condition it was in when I started the video. Essentially, I'm just missing the hood, the muffler. I don't have a carburetor to put on it yet. The carburetor was junk when we hauled this tractor in here. So, but this is unseized, and that's what the video was. So I got the hand crank on here, and you can see it's going around. There's the fan going around. You can hear it. So I mean, that's it. That's how to unseize Farmall Cub. I started this at about, 11 o'clock or noon. It's about 6:30 now, and I had a buddy come over and we were working on something else for a couple hours. So yeah, 4 or 5 hours. Take the head off, take the some other components off, and clean it up, beat it loose, put it back together. So that's it. How to unseize it. Now the rest of the thing, it's still a project.